That's better.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So this video, if you couldn't tell by the title, my good friends Oscar, Raymond, Robbie and I went to Copenhagen from the 11th to the 14th of June, and in this video I'll just be going over what we did and kind of giving a little insight into planning a trip to this amazing city. And I'll also try my best to include prices into this video. However, I was quite reckless with my spending, so I have not recorded much of my spending. Anyway, let's get on to the video, shall we? So, me and my friends, we live in Aberdeen in Scotland, and our flight was from Edinburgh. So we woke up at 5 AM to catch a bus from Aberdeen train station to Edinburgh airport. Bear in mind, this is my first time travelling to a different country in years, so I was a bit anxious about the airport experience. However, thanks to my friends and the amazing airport staff, it all went okay. After a long wait, we finally boarded the plane and we were in the air. And once we landed in Copenhagen airport, which is a lovely airport by the way, we got a train to the central station of Copenhagen. Now may I add, the trains in Copenhagen were wonderful. This is coming from someone who has never used trains outside of Scotland, so bear that in mind. But I was pleasantly surprised at the train experience. There was a train every 20 minutes and the machines were super easy to use and had an English menu option, and it was amazing. So the train from the airport to Central Station was 30 Danish kroner, which was just under £4 for a 15-minute journey. Once we got to Central Station, I brought out my phone to go to Google Maps so we can find our way to our hotel. But Oscar, like the nerd he is, says, "No, I already know a cool route." Yes, this man had looked at Google Earth so many times before the trip that he already knew his way around the city without even being there in the first place. And the route was pretty nice, like he said. So we checked into the hotel and dumped our bags down and were out the door as soon as possible so we could check out the city. Our first destination was Strøget, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, which is the main shopping street, mainly because we had nothing planned. We just went somewhere central so we could find something to do. So we found somewhere to eat. It was this really nice restaurant called Malmö. It was Italian, and the waiter spoke in English first to us. We didn't even say a word, and we had a very nice meal. Probably the best bolognese I've ever had. Then we had a little walk around the city before returning to our hotel, and on the way there we found a slide which we could not resist going down. Anyway, we crashed and on to day 2. So first thing we did after we woke up at 10 AM, I'm not happy about this, we went to a shopping centre known as Fisketorvet, which was huge, especially compared to the ones in Aberdeen, which are minuscule in comparison. And there we had McDonald's for breakfast. No, not McDonald's breakfast, like actual food for breakfast. Anyway, then we rented bikes using an app called Donkey Republic, which I would highly recommend. It's super easy to use. It tells you where the nearest bikes are and how many there are. And once you choose your bike, it unlocks for you and you're free to go. It is pay as you go, but for an hour of cycling like we did, it was 39 Danish kroner, which is about £5.50. Our destination was Refn Food Market, but on the way is a popular tourist destination known as Freetown Christiania, which, as the name suggests, is a free town. And what this means is that the area has no laws. Therefore, there are things like people selling weed on the street with big signs that make it very clear that they are selling what they are selling. I didn't get a single photo there, however, as they are very strict about no photo laws, and apparently if they catch you with a camera, they will get really angry and chase you. I don't know how true that is, but I just thought it was best not to take my phone out. It was a very nice cycle though. In Christiania, I was a lot less scared than the media tells you. The buildings have loads of graffiti on them, which usually tells you a bad sign, but this was actual artwork and it was cool to see. Eventually we got to Refn, but we were too full after McDonald's. We didn't actually eat anything. We mostly had drinks. I had a £6 slushie, which was well worth it by the way. We then cycled back to the city centre, where we went to this really nice Chinese restaurant called Great China. It was a lovely meal, but 30 quid is bloody outrageous. That was 262 Danish kroner for ramen, dumplings. That was it, ramen and dumplings. It was 262 Danish kroner, which is £30 like I said. That's outrageous. Then we cycled to a really nice neighbourhood near Islandsbrug, I think is how you pronounce it. That was super nice anyway, and I really want to live there. If I was to live in Copenhagen, I would live there. It's so nice. Anyway, day 3, we took a train over the Öresund Bridge to Malmö in Sweden for a day trip. The train was a 35-minute journey and it cost 96 Danish kroner each way, which is around £22 altogether. I came to Sweden with one goal in mind: meatballs. So I took the group to this place with pretty good reviews called Spoonery. It was a very small place, however the staff were very nice and explained everything in English. They even had an English menu. We all obviously ordered the meatballs, which were bloody lovely. I say it was my favourite meal of the trip. It was also the cheapest, 135 Swedish kroner. It was only £10. Included in this price was unlimited bread and water, which was a huge bonus. I would definitely recommend this place in Malmö. Next we walked a bit more around the city and found the Twisting Torso, which for some reason is the main attraction of the city. I have no idea why, it's just a residential building. Anyways, Oscar, this guy, takes us on a 2-mile walk without telling us where the destination is. Eventually we arrive at this church, just a public church, and this guy says, "Oh, I thought it was a cool cathedral." Let's just say it was a bit of a quiet walk back to the train station. Once we got back to Copenhagen, Robbie and I went to this burger joint called Max Burger, which was lovely despite it being cheap. We went back to the hotel to meet up with the rest of the group. For the rest of the night, we just kind of watched TikToks in silence, which I wasn't really enjoying. So I went on a spontaneous bike ride by myself. I really liked the neighbourhood from the day before, so much that I went back there. It was a different vibe at 10 PM however. It was one of my favourite moments from the trip. I also asked this very nice woman to take a profile picture for me, which she very kindly did, and that was the end of day 3, the last full day. So on day 4, the first thing we did was head to Nyhavn, which we could not leave without seeing. I had planned to do this canal tour from before the trip even started, so that was the plan. However, no one else wanted to do it with me, so I said,
"Fine. I'll do it myself."
And I did just that. Here are some highlights. Once I met up with the boys again, we walked to the King's Garden where we saw Rosenborg Castle. We never went in, but it was really cool to see. Our next destination was the Danish Architecture Centre because we're nerds, and Oscar's going to study architecture later on in the year, so we had to. I really enjoyed just looking at the models, they were really cool to see. And there was also the slide from the top to the bottom floor, which was unnecessarily fun. And then there was a station with MetaQuest 2 loaded with this plank game, where you walk across a plank, as the name suggests. There's also a plank in real life, like a metal plank on the ground to add to the immersion. And after this, our day came to an end. It was time to head to the airport. Our flight was at 10:30, which is already super late, but to add on to that, it got delayed by 2 hours. Oscar, what do you have to say to this? We landed at like 1 in the morning, and Robbie's poor dad drove all the way from Aberdeen to pick us up. But we bought him some nice vodka, so it was all good. So that was the end of the trip, and I really enjoyed my time in Copenhagen. It was my first time travelling in about 12 years, so anything is going to be good for me. But I really enjoyed it. Copenhagen is one of the bucket list places to go. You might not know why, I don't really know why, it's just a nice place, and it delivered. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it helped you maybe plan your future trip to Copenhagen if you're planning one. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!